many weapons do you think there are in Splatoon 3 right now? 70? 80? 90? It's 101. Now ask yourself this. How many of those 101 weapons do you reckon you see on a regular basis? I'm betting you've got a much smaller number in your head, haven't you? Well, so did I, and it got me thinking, how many matches would I have to play to see every currently available weapon in the game in action? Was this a smart idea? No. But did I do it anyway? Well, you're watching this video, so what do you think? As I went into game 1, I had some pretty high hopes. Being the first match of the day, I stupidly assumed I'd be able to tick 7 weapons straight off the list with absolutely no problems. Unfortunately for me, the funny squid game had other ideas. You've got to be kidding, why are half the weapons in here brushes? So not quite the 7 I'd hoped for, just, you know, the 3 Octo Brush Nouveaux and a paintbrush, because that's totally something you expect to see in game 1. Plus the Splat Charger, Splat Roller and Blue Dapples.
Wait, 7? But aren't there 8 people?
You're quite right, but for the purposes of this video, I don't exist. Well, I do exist, but the weapons I'm using won't count. If I did that, I could easily cheese my way through this video by simply using every weapon once. As you could probably imagine, the first few games went pretty well. Game 2 got rid of the Hydra Splatling, NZAP 89 and Slosher Deco, whilst also giving us our first disconnect of the day. That's right, we got a whole 1 game in before a DC happened. Ah, the Nintendo Online service. Don't you just love it? And if you too are a victim of the Nintendo Online service, hit subscribe! By game 5, I was already thinking strategy. Well, you know, about as much strategy as you can for a challenge that's basically 99% luck. Oh yeah, and I'm staying in Turf War because that's a lot of new weapons. But yeah, I'm gonna do this in Turf. That wasn't the original plan, but I thought about it and I realised that this is probably my best shot because of like the complete lack of matchmaking, like even less than ranked. Like all bets are off in Turf War, and it's the shortest mode, so I could get through the most games in the same amount of time. However, because it is Turf War, I figured I might as well spice it up a little bit. I decided that we're gonna play a little mini game while we do this challenge. I will ask Google to randomly generate me a number between 1 and 101, and I will have to use whatever weapon that corresponds to in my weapon catalogue until I see someone else using it. If I've already seen it, then I will have to use it for 5 games and then I can get a new one. So into Google I went to get my first randomly generated number. It gave me number 67, which in this case turned out to be the custom Splattershot Jr. Now you'll notice that this one just showed up in the previous game, so I would only have it for the next 5. For some reason, game 6 decided it was going to bring out all of the charges, so I did the only thing I could do in this situation and torpedo spammed like a boss. Only in game 6? Are you sure about that? Okay, so maybe for 5 games this was pretty much the only thing I did. Now, quite a few weapons showed up during these 5 games, so let's continue to watch me spam torpedoes while I talk about a couple of them. Both of the tri-stringers appeared, with the incline in game 7 and the regular one in game 8, which was kinda weird to me, because that meant there was only 1 stringer left and it was the weapon that paints so much it finally got missiles nerfed. A few of my faves also showed up in the Forged Splattershot Pro, Carbon Roller Deco and Tri-Slosher Nouveau, as well as the Explosion, which in all honesty I'm not normally glad to see, on account of being both terrible with it, yet always dying to it. The Dark Tetra Dualies appeared in game 10, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I spent half of that game trying to remember which Tetras those actually were. Those are the dark? No, light. No, dark. No, I don't remember. They're Tetras, but I don't know which ones. With game 10 came the end of my time with the Custom Junior, so back to Google I went, who in return gave me the number 34. This was the Splattershot Nova. Now by this point it was only game 11, but the reality of the situation I'd put myself in really started to hit me. I realised at this point I'm basically playing like Splatoon Ultimate Bingo or something. No, actually no, it's like more like the lottery, because like at least with bingo you know when it's gonna end. This I literally have no idea. The rate of new weapons I was seeing had slowed down drastically. From 4 to 6 in the first few games, we were now averaging 1 or 2 per game, or at least we were until game 16 came along. Game 16 gave us our first match with no new weapons, and much like drama after a Splatfest, this wouldn't be the last time. So that's the Undercover Brella. I thought that would come up pretty early because like I always do them in Turf War, but like why? Why do people like that weapon? Like, the game said pick a struggle, Undercover said I want all of them, and people still pick it? Like, what? Apparently the game gods didn't appreciate me dissing the Undercover Brella, because I was treated to a whole load of nothing in the next match. No new weapons, no anything. I was now 1 hour into the challenge, and after 20 games, we had exactly 50 weapons checked off the list. All sounds pretty good, right? Yeah, I thought so too. As it turns out, I may have been just a tiny bit delusional, but one thing I was dead certain on was how much the Splattershot Nova was beginning to get on my nerves. I don't like this. I feel like everything can kill me and I can't kill them in time, and it's just like, I don't like this feeling. Wait, there's someone in here called Nova. Please have it. Please have it. Please have it.
Bruh.
There was some good news though, as while it felt like I was continually losing in horrendous fashion, I was at least a winner where the challenge was concerned, as between games 21 to 30, another 13 weapons appeared, bringing our total up to 63. Now after game 30 and a full 20 matches playing the Nova, I decided I needed to take action, purely for the sake of my own sanity. Okay, so you know how I said there'd be no cheese in this video? Turns out I'm a little rat who loves her cheese. Like, I don't want to use the Nova anymore. I'm just gonna get a new weapon and I'm gonna keep it moving and we're all gonna say nothing about it, okay? And keep it moving I did, straight onto the Krak On Roller. Actually, the Krak On only gets a 1 match cameo because precisely one new weapon showed up while I had this thing, and guess what it was? No, what are the chances? What are the chances? In all honesty, it's probably a good thing that my time with the Krak On was short and sweet, because in that game I registered 1 failed Kraken, 1,000,001 missed hits, and a perfect demonstration of why you don't roll with rollers. I was back at Google to get my next number. A lot quicker than I expected, to be fair, and yeah, this was going to be a bit of a problem. You see, I didn't mention this earlier because I was secretly hoping it wouldn't come up. I went into this challenge only actually owning 97 of the 101 weapons. And it's not because I didn't have the Sheldon licenses to get them. I did. I've been having the Sheldon licenses. It's just, I don't like nozzle noses like that. I was gonna buy them, eventually, just, you know, after everything else had already come out. But I guess now I had no choice. So off I went over to Ammo Nights to go purchase the hose guns. Luckily for me, buying the nozzle noses put them at the front of my weapon collection and not the back, so none of them were actually weapon 100. No, that honour went to the Splat Brella. In the first game with the Splat Brella, we finally stumbled upon the reflux, about a whole 30 games after I expected it. Oh, and I also learned that a Brella shield can take on an ultra stamp and win. Well, actually, I don't know about win. Let's go with, not lose. Oh! I honestly didn't think that would work. Game 36 was just us getting beat up horrendously for 3 minutes straight. Like, if you want an idea as to how that game went, I was number 1 overall and enemy splatter with a grand total of 3 kills. But on the bright side, the light Tetra Dualies did appear, so now I no longer had to worry about which one showed up earlier because they were both ticked off the list. I spent the next 5 or so games just going through the motions really, because not much happened. Well, I mean, aside from a rogue Rapid Blaster Pro Deco appearance. We ended up going on a nice 6-game streak of new weapons showing up, plus the Big Swig making an appearance in game 49. So after another 20 games, this time with the Splat Brella, I officially decided I was changing the rules of our little minigame. If I still haven't seen a weapon after 20 games, I won't tick it off my list, but I can generate a new one to use if I want to. And learning that my tolerance for using the same weapon for long periods of time is really not that high. Actually, what am I talking about? I'm fully waffling. The fact I have 0 5-star weapons because I'd rather grind like 3 different ones to 4 stars at a time instead should have told me this months ago. So after this revelation and rule change, I hit up the random number generator once again, and this time it gave me number 22, which was the Carbon Roller Deco. Into game 52 I went, and apparently all I had to do to get the Splat Brella to show up was to stop using it? I swear to God, you could not make this up. How did I use that thing for the best part of 20 games and it didn't want to show its face once, but then I put it down and hits like, "Hi, I'm here," just to rub it in my face even more. It actually showed up in the game after that as well, and it wasn't even the same person using it. You know the drill by now. The random number generator gave me the number 11, which ended up being the Slosher. I don't know if Google was starting to feel sorry for me or what, but as I approached the 3-hour mark, I was more than happy to get 2 weapons I actually enjoy back to back. Now, surprisingly to me, the Slosher hadn't appeared in any game that I wasn't using it yet. I don't know if like maybe my bucket bias is showing or whatever, but like I thought this was a relatively popular weapon. Like, I would have at least bet money on this one turning up before the Slosher Deco, and I would have fully lost too. Perhaps even more surprising to me than the Slosher's absence from this video was when the L3 Nozzle Nose D decided to show up. You're joking. That cannot be the L3D I see before me. You're trying to tell me someone chose that before they chose this. Hey guys, editing Jazz here, just to say, yes, past me, your bucket bias anti-nozzle nose self was 100% on show here. There was no maybe about it. I'm not sure why you even questioned it. As the 3-hour mark officially rolled around, we were now pretty comfortably into one new weapon per game at best territory. In fact, with game 60 also bringing us the Snipe Rifle 5H, this would be the last game to feature multiple new weapons. This meant a few things, and none of them good. This challenge was about to get very long, very tedious, and a hell of a lot more annoying to complete. I played 14 more games with the Slosher and only came across 4 more new weapons in that time. The Gootuber in game 61. Okay, Gootuber, okay, I get it, I see you and your missiles. The Anarchy Splattershot Nova in game 62. That person's name is Nut1. That probably means someone's running around with the words nut. Wait, that's that Anarchy Nova, right? A surprisingly long wait for the Sloshing Machine in game 64. Go Batsuit Man! Yeah, Batsuit Man, you got it, Batsuit Man. Let's go, Batsuit Man. Oh, wait a second. Isn't that a sloshing machine? I think I was too distracted by flipping Batsuit Man over here to like notice. As well as the Tenta Splat Brella in game 66. I decided that I was going to get a new weapon because as much as I loved the Slosher, I figured it was about time. The next number to be thrown out by the random generator was number 69, which I worked out to be the Heavy Splatling Deco. Now my time with the Heavy Deco didn't get off to a great start challenge wise. Game 75 featured our grand total of 0 new weapons, just like the previous 8 games before it. And all of this was making me feel in a very I want to throw my Switch out the nearest window type mood. Luckily for me, this feeling wouldn't last long. Wait, someone's got the Splattershot Nova. Someone's actually got it. I didn't think it was going to show up at this point. Lucy, you are the best. You don't know me, but you are the best. So there it was. The Splattershot Nova was indeed real. And can we take a moment to appreciate, if I hadn't changed the rules for the random weapon minigame, I would have been stuck on the Nova for 65 games in a row. That would have been just over 3 hours of Novering. But the new weapons didn't stop there. The Heavy Deco seemed to be a bit of a good luck charm for me, as in game 77, along came the Slosher. Apparently the Slosher decided it was following the Splat Brella's footsteps. That thing didn't want to show up when I used it for almost an hour, but will show up immediately after I put it down. I was in the 4th hour now, and you know how I just said the Heavy Splatling Deco was my good luck charm? It turns out it really was. The next 15 games had me reevaluating this idea, this challenge, and every life choice I made that led to me sitting there in front of Splatoon in that moment. When I say nothing went right, I mean nothing went right. It was time for my 8th randomly generated weapon, and this time I got given the Dynamo roller. Did you know that the D in Dynamo stands for 2 things? Death and disconnects, because that is literally all that happened the entire time I had this thing. Either someone got Thanos snapped, or I got beat up and played Respawn Simulator the entire game. Nothing new showed up while I had the Dynamo, so it was time for me to get something else, and apparently Google was done feeling sorry for me as it handed me the Tenta Brella. We will be moving swiftly on from the Tenta Brella. All you need to know is in those 5 games there were no new weapons, and I quite frankly had a horrible time. The Gootuber was up next, and just to add to my misery and suffering, guess who forgot to unmute her mic the entire time I had it? To be honest with you, it doesn't even matter much, because those games were, how do I put this? Not my finest work. I basically once again resorted to torpedo spamming, and no new weapons showed up anyway. We were rapidly heading towards a major milestone. I took to the number generator once again and got given number 22. Wait a second. Haven't we already had that? As it turns out, yes we did. It was the Carbon Deco in what feels like a lifetime ago. So naturally I did it again, and this time it gave me the number 26, which turned out to be the Dualie Squelchers. And so the stage was set. The Dualie Squelchers would be the weapon to take us to that magical game 100. Actually, I say magical. I think the word I'm really looking for here is, anticlimactic. Aside from the game 97 where the Beluga Dualies finally made an appearance, my time with the Dualie Squelchers was almost identical to the 3 weapons that came before it, and game 100 was no exception to this. The 100th game meant I had now spent 5 hours in total trying to complete this challenge. Now the good news was there was only 8 weapons left on our list. The bad news was I genuinely did not remember the last time I'd seen half of them. Google told me I needed to go get the Rapid Blaster Pros, so that's exactly what I did. Game 101 had me very narrowly miss getting Trizukaed, and in game 02 I think the other team gave up or something, so we decided to wave the white flag and party with them at the end. But you'll notice one thing about these games and the ones on screen now. None of them had any of the... Hold on, is that what I think that is? So we were now down to just 6 weapons remaining. Once I did finally remember to change weapons, I went back to Google, who gave me the number 74, and you will never guess what that turned out to be. Now at this point, I was pretty tired. Actually, you know what? No, scratch that. What I was unbelievably over it. I just wanted this challenge to end. I played the Ballpoint Splatling for 40 games. I played it for 2 whole hours. And was I rewarded by the Splatoon gods for this? Well, let's put it this way. You know that saying that goes the number 13 is unlucky for some? Yeah, well, the Ballpoint Splatling just so happened to be the 13th randomly generated weapon I used. In 40 games, in 2 hours, I only saw 1 of the remaining 6 weapons. That's the, oh my god, what is it even? 96 Deco. I swear to you, I don't think I've ever been this happy to see something pink and sparkly, and we just went through the summer of Barbie. Getting past game 150 meant I was now 7.5 hours into this challenge. I played 5 games with the Squiffer, 5 with the 52 gal, and 5 with the Rapid Blaster Deco, all at the request of the random number generator, and all amounting to the same amount of weapons as the UK's points total in Eurovision 2021. I actually thought the Splat Dualies were about to turn that trio into a quad as 4 games went by and yet again nothing showed up. But then... after 170 games, along came the oh my god, I don't think I can say it, the H3 Nozzle Nose D. After this I had the mini Splatling, and you know the drill by now, nothing happened, no new weapons, blah blah blah, let's move on. With only 4 weapons left, you can well imagine that my time with the O Matic got off to a pretty slow start as far as the challenge was concerned. But unlike many times and many games before it, the splash didn't end up being a total waste of my time. In fact, it gave us the return. After 183 games, the Ballpoint Splatling was officially back in the building. As it was the 20th random weapon, I decided that the heavy Splatling would be the one to take me up to game 200. We squid partied, we fist bumped, we bullied the children, hell, we even levitated. What the hell? Does anybody else see the what the? But in 15 games, you know what we didn't do? You guessed it, none of the final 3 showed up. After game 200, I stopped. I needed a moment to think, to reflect, to decide. After 10 whole hours of trying, we'd seen 98 of the 101 weapons in the game, but that final 3 still eluded me. The last thing I wanted to do was quit, not when I was this close to the end, but I was tired, I was frustrated, and I was beginning to give up hope. I had an idea. You see, luckily for me, the current Salmon Run rotation included a random weapon, which means even though they weren't part of the set weapons, the Rapid Blaster, H3 and L3 all had a chance to show up. Now was this cheating? Maybe a little. It would still be a game of luck and RNG after all, and the fact there was only 1 random slot meant that even in Salmon Run, it could still take me hours. Now, I'm so sorry to the poor unfortunate souls who had to play with me for these first couple shifts. I hadn't played Salmon Run in a hot minute, and it's safe to say I was just a little bit rusty. While my existence may have been mildly annoying to some of my teammates at times, I was finally feeling like a winner. Shift number 3 ended up being the shift of dreams. Sorta. We got handed an easy win with a mothership round in wave 1, and in wave 2... there it was, the H3 Nozzle Nose. It was real, it did exist, and boy was I happy to not have to spend another 5 hours looking for it. Did I accidentally dive straight into a gorilla in wave 3, not realising I was the last person alive? Kinda, but I was now just 2 weapons away from completing this challenge. Shift A got my hopes up as I spotted another nozzle nose, only to realise it was a flippin' H3. I swear, it's like you wait 10 hours for one H3 and then 2 show up at once. I played for around an hour without seeing the rapid or the L3. But anyways, because we haven't got all day, let's cut to shift number 23. Oh my god, I have it! It's me, Rapid Blaster, my beloved! The Rapid Blaster had finally arrived, which meant we were down to just one, the L3 Nozzle Nose, the winner of the rarest weapon in the game award. Not to worry though, because now the L3 knew it was a certified award winner, it came out of hiding pretty quickly. Oh my god, like that's the L3 for real! Is it weird to say I low-key feel a bit emotional right now? Like it's done. Like I don't have to do this anymore. 227. It takes 227 games to see every currently available weapon in Splatoon 3. 200 Turf War, 27 Salmon Run. If you want to see me take on another silly Splatoon challenge, check out the video on screen now and hit subscribe while you're at it. But most importantly, stay positive, stay smiling, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!